Okay folks, welcome back. On today's episode, the Turbo Pig Miata Kart gets a new racing seat. It's going to go from this to this. So follow along. Hopefully you're entertained and you learn something new. Now let's go to the shop and make magic happen. So this is a seat I'm going to be replacing my factory one with. It's a Kirkey 17-inch wide Pro Street seat. From the research I've done, they're very comfortable. I wanted something lighter and a little safer, so that is what I chose. And as you can see, it is quite a bit wider than the factory seat. The factory seat rails are like 13 inches center to center from bolt holes. This one is closer to 18 inches overall width, and so that creates a little bit of fitment issue. As most of you know, you see the tunnel here, the trans tunnel flares out, bubbles out, which causes issues with a lot of aftermarket seats. So I now need to cut this out in order to make it fit. And this line you can see here is where the minimum amount of area I need to remove in order to make that seat fit. But I think I'm going to go from the front of this bracket here and just follow it all the way along down to here and just cut it all out, and then I'll replace it with a new piece of sheet metal. So I guess nothing to it but to do it. And just like that, I have ruined my car. Took out a nice chunk of structural integrity. But that's alright. We'll figure it out. See, my exhaust is right there. So I just need to come in with a piece of plate that comes straight down, angles in, almost 90 degree. And then I'll weld it in, and then I can start fitting my seat and fucking building some more stronger places for it to mount to. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know what to say. Alright, so we have that hole patched up. So what I did is I took a piece of 16 gauge mild steel and I measured the length and the width and cut out a nice square, and I put a bend in it. Nothing fancy. I just clamped it to a table ledge, bent it over by hand as much as I could, and used a hammer to force it down the rest of the way till I felt like I had the approximate angle I needed. And then I put it in there and I traced it out to what the holes would be, and then I took it and cut it and worked it and trimmed it and ground it down until it got it to fit, and then I started tacking it in. And where it didn't fit real well, or it didn't line up with the original sheet metal, I took this piece of angle iron and I would like tack it onto there, tack it onto the original sheet metal, and then pry it up until it lined up with the new piece of metal, and then I would tack it in. And then once I had that all pretty flush, I mean there's still some gap like there, but I'll just fill that in with weld, and then that's basically it. And I can just continue on just doing little tack welds all the way around, taking my time not to overheat the metal and warp it. But I actually think I'm going to TIG weld everything in between the tack welds. That'll give me a smaller weld and less to grind, hopefully, and save me some time. But yeah, I'll get it all ground down smooth. And I made this template here, and I used some ram board, this stuff, ram board. I got it from Home Depot or Lowe's or anything. It's like a really stiff cardboard. It's great for making templates. You can bend it, form it, mess around with it. I just took a square chunk like this and jammed it in the hole and came up with this template, and I just took it over to my 16 gauge material, cut it off, and I took it over to my vertical bandsaw and rough cut it out, and then I just ground it down. And this is what ram board roll looks like. This, I've used quite a bit of this. But you can buy this huge roll. It's like 3 feet tall and a ton of material for like 35 bucks, something like that, at like I said, Home Depot or Lowe's. So, but okay, I will get back to welding. I'll get that all welded up and ground down, and then I'll see you then. Okay, well, there it is, all welded up. Not going to get too close because it's not my best work, but it's done. And you can see the difference between the TIG weld, pretty small and flat, and versus the MIG weld spot welding. It's a lot more material in there, a lot more raised up, so it's going to require a lot more grinding to get it flat again. But I'm not going to get too buck wild about it. I'm just going to get it relatively smooth, relatively flat, and paint it black and send it to the track. So, oh, and another thing about the ram board, this stuff, see how thin it is compared to like normal cardboard material. You know, you can see the thickness difference there, and so it makes cardboard is, you know, a good medium to work with, but using this stuff is just so much better. A lot easier to work with. It's still nice and stiff and a lot easier to cut and shape, and you can put bends into it and it'll hold the form. Really good stuff. So Okay, now everybody's favorite fun job of grinding away. Okay, well, here it is, all ground down. Well, the weld's ground down. Now we are ready for paint. Alright, first I'm gonna spray it down with some lacquer thinner, and then we'll hit it with some paint, and yeah, it'll be ready to start mocking up where the seat needs to go and get that mounting system done. Let's go get some lacquer thinner, some paint. Easy guy. So this is the paint I'm going to use. Rust-Oleum hammered. This stuff is very, very durable. That's what I've used on the floor before. Thinner. That's what's on the floor now. It's very durable, and you can see that there's no wear through spots where my feet have been rubbing, getting in and out, and just driving in general. It's a very, very durable paint. I highly recommend it. Hose this sucker down with some lacquer thinner, and we'll get all the dust and junk wiped up. Let's hit it again. Getting high. Oh, buddy. You know, any potential grease, dirt out of there. Alright, let's blow dry this thing. As you can see, I didn't get too buck wild with the sanding. You can see where I didn't get it all perfect, and I didn't weld it. I had some warping issues. I got a little impatient and just said F it. This ain't a car, this ain't a show car, so. Throw some of this paint down if I have enough in there. Okay, we'll be back after that dries and we can start mocking up the seat brackets. And here's the finished product for the brackets anyways. So as you can see, I had to add 3/16 plate here. Because when I first put them down there, I noticed that because this floor plate angles down and creates quite a big gap, and so when it was just the brackets themselves, it wasn't sitting right. It wasn't sitting very flat with the seat on there. And so I ended up having to cut some more 3/16 plate and clean the areas, weld them up, and repaint everything. But now they're all mounted securely. They're nice and flat and level and square with each other. And so now we just need to put the seat in and then get that bolted down and then put the cover on. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, that's a tight fit. Haha, that's what she said. No, she didn't say that. There we go, all bolted in. Very sturdy. Yeah, that'll work nicely. Now I just need to get my seat belts routed. Where's my zoom at? The retractable ones, get the race ones, get all that ran through, get the submarine belt, and get the cover on. Yeah. All right, well, here it is. Basically the final product. Seat is in, cover is on, seat belts are rerouted. Got all 5-point harness. I got my street seat belt in there. Got the receiver part there. If I'm gonna be just on the street, I can tuck away all my racing harness back behind the seat and underneath it, and then vice versa. I can just pull this off to the side, push that through the hole, and then I have just my race harness. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. It looks very good. Kind of a pain in the butt. One thing I may still need to do is to put in a brace from the back of the seat to this bar here for the NHRA rules. I also did install some skid pad. It's kind of like the skateboard top material, grippy stuff, so that'll make things a lot easier for getting in and out. And this is what it's called. It's basically for like wooden steps inside your house to make it anti-slip. So I still need to clean this Lexan piece up and reinstall it. I need to put some notches since I moved where my seat, my harness is. Yeah, create a notch for that. And then I want to put in another one in this area here all the way across to help with exhaust fumes getting sucked into the cab, because once the air comes over top of the windshield and the cage, it creates a huge low pressure area, and so it just kind of sits here and tumbles around, and so any exhaust fumes and stuff like that, it just gets sucked right back inside, and the wife is not happy about it. So, but yeah, I am very pleased with that. Looking very good. still got some cleaning to do. You can see like this here, it's not just from burnouts. It's went out with a buddy of mine and we tried using some traction compound, some stripper glue on a no prep surface out in Mexico, and that stuff flung everywhere and it literally sticks to everything. I mean, their brand name is no joke. So it's very difficult to get off. So doing traction compound in an open wheel vehicle, don't recommend that. But I'll get it all cleaned up, get it ready for next season. So, but yep, as far as that goes, I think that's it for today. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.